Friday night without you. Every night is Friday night without you. When I was young, I was dumb as a rock. I could not read a clock, and nothing did it mean nothing to me now. I'm no saint, but I ain't such a freak on the days of the week. I work hard, hard. Every night is Friday night without you. Every night is Friday night without you. Woo!
Larry Groce here, mountainstage.org is where you can hear the show, and you got to hear the show today because the old 97's are with us. It is our 27th birthday show too. I told you that already, didn't I? Yeah. They have a brand new album called The Grand Theater Volume 1. Mr. Rhett Miller's here with us. Now, 97's have never been on as a band, but Rhett's been on with us once before, and we enjoyed his music. This record is really great. I've just listened to a couple of times to a download of it, and it's Volume 1 because I guess you're going to have you had too many tunes to fit them all at one time, so you're going to re-release. Somebody's going to re-release Volume 2 in the near future.
I'm talking May is what they're saying now.
So it's very soon.
Yeah, and it was going to be a double album, but the marketplace is no longer.
That's tough.
Yeah, they don't want it,
Yeah.
which I understand.
Yeah.
You know, attention spans get shorter. You know what? I think the new thing is just put an EP out every month or two.
Some people do that, and it's an interesting way to go, or just have downloads on your site along with that or whatever. Obviously, you have to have it out there in many ways because you have many kinds of fans, many kinds of people listen in different ways. Some of them never have a CD in their hand ever.
Yeah.
And others want to have the CD and some art and something to read while they're listening, you know, especially the old school people.
Yeah.
And you have fans that are old school and new school, young, old, and everything in between.
Yeah, I was born in the backseat of a Mustang on a cold night in a hard rain. And the very first song the radio sang it was "I won't be home no more." Oh, and I won't be home no more. Woo!
Song that you did, this wasn't, you didn't write this one when you were on tour, but that you did to Desolation Row.
Oh yeah,
that's a fascinating story. Tell us that, because this is great.
Well, I'd sat on the song for a few years because years ago when the 97's drove ourselves, which there's a number of stepping stones, you know, big moments, watershed moments in your career. When you get somebody else to carry your stuff for you, that's a big thing. Somebody else to drive for you, that's a big thing. But so this is before all that. I was driving the van. It was 3 in the morning. Everybody else was asleep. Nobody even stayed awake to help me, you know. So I had to keep myself awake, and I frequently do this where I'll write a song. And you can't play guitar, obviously.
Yeah, you're driving a car.
It's already dangerous having me drive, you know, forget about trying to play guitar. So I took a song that I loved and knew intimately, Bob Dylan's Desolation Row of Highway 61, which is a top 5 album all time for me. And I just wrote new lyrics for it. I didn't do the full 10 verses that he did in his version, and mine's, you know, incredibly different. You know, it's not like I really thought about his lyrics while I was writing mine. I just took his melody. Mm-hmm. And so for years I sat on it for fear of legal repercussion because Dylan's notorious for having an aggressive legal team. Mm-hmm. I don't blame him. I mean, he's such an icon. Everybody's...
Well, yeah, and he has a lot of valuable property.
Exactly. So, but then when we were making this record, that song kept coming back in my head. And so I started talking to Murray about it and trying to figure out how could we make this work? Could I change the melody? And it just didn't feel right because it's what it is. It's that song. And so I realized Danny Goldberg is our manager, and Danny's just a stud. You know, he's been around forever, and he's beloved, and he's friends with, it turns out, Dylan's manager. So we went to Dylan's manager, and he said, "We've got this song." And the manager said, "Well, we turn down 100 things like this a day out of hand."
I'm sure they do.
You know, and I don't take anything to Dylan like this. But if it's really important, then and you tell me to do it, I'll do it. So he brought it to Dylan, and I waited for a couple of weeks, nervous about it. And then I get this email, Dylan likes the song, which, oh my God.
Right away, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I'd given him a recording I did live at this little club in Hollywood called Largo, and I left on the intro, which was a full minute and a half rambling of me joking around about, there's this guy Bob Dylan, and everybody knows he's not that great of a lyricist, so I took the liberty of, just being stupid.
Yeah, right.
And but I figured he would get it. Sure. He's one of us. And even though he's sort of sainted, and he's still a guy that hangs out in dressing rooms, 70% of his time.
A lot of the time.
So then Dylan likes it, but he wants to read the lyrics. So, I remember I was in the playground watching my kids play, and I got the stupid little iPhone keyboard, and I'm typing out furiously the lyrics to this song. And the next day, Dylan likes it. He said yes. And not only that, but he gave us half the publishing.
Wow. That's amazing. You weren't even asking for that,
no,
I'm sure.
Not at
You
all.
probably didn't dare ask for that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. It's a great song. If you know Desolation Row, it's Champaign, Illinois. It's the same. That's the payoff.
Yeah.
So you'll hear the song. You guys are gonna do that today? I don't know. That's a pretty
We
long
are.
song.
Yeah.
Are you? Great. That's a good one. I'm glad to hear that because that's one of my favorites on the record. And the way that came out that's one of those storybook ending that you really could never predict that would happen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Bob Dylan, y'all. Bottom line's been snorted, yeah, the bottom card's been dealt. No one knows like you know right now how truly bad it felt. All your life you wasted on dreaming about the day. Worker bees kill off their queen and carry all her eggs away. Oh, baby, you died fearing God and painfully employed. You will not go to heaven, you'll go to Champaign, Illinois.
97's have had a lot of success and been around a good while. And you guys started out in Texas, right?
Dallas.
Yeah. And then now you live all over the place, or what?
I live in the Hudson Valley of New York. Murray,
rest of them?
Murray lives in Pasadena, and then the other two guys, Philip and Ken, live in Dallas still.
Okay. So still a couple down back where you started from, but you got enough togetherness to get together for a tour.
And we hub out of Dallas. Murray and I'll fly in, and I got family still there that I love, and I want to see every time I can. So.
Yeah. Murray's done solo project too, right?
He did a really beautiful solo record called I Don't Know Where I'm Going, But I'm on My Way.
That's funny. I'd not heard that, but a friend of mine last night was telling me what a great record that is.
It was a pretty low-key release. He always says, that was just a vanity record. It wasn't like your solo records. I'm like, dude, you made a solo record.
Somebody heard it and liked it because here in Charleston, West Virginia, a friend of mine said, that's a great record. And I'd never heard it yet. Old 97's, the new record is the Grand Theater Volume 1. It's out in May. Volume 2 will be out. A lot of really, really good songs, and it's a good sounding record. Where did you record this, in Dallas?
We did a lot of the pre-production in this 100-year-old theater called the Sons of Herman Hall, where we played a lot of our favorite shows.
Yeah, I've seen shows there.
Yeah. It's 100 this year.
I'll be down.
But so we actually, we've done that before, but we've never done it as intensely. We were in for a week, really hardcore, and Murray actually slept there one night because it's purportedly haunted, and he's a big ghost fan, and he wanted to see if he got any hauntings. He didn't really, but he was really cranky the next day because he didn't sleep. So there was that. And then we did the actual recording down in Austin at this place called the Treefort Studios, which this guy Jack Rock put together, and he's an old NASA, I shouldn't call him old, but he's a little old. He's a NASA engineer that made a good living and took all the money and bought this crazy old gear. And he's so obsessed with keeping it up that everything is in perfect working order. In fact, to the point where if something breaks while you're working on it, like we had an Ampeg bass head that was a crazy old beautiful thing, and it broke in the middle of a song, and we yelled, Jack, the bass head broke. And I heard him, he goes, oh, good. Like he just couldn't.
I get to put this together again.
Exactly.
That's a great kind of tech guy. Old 97's, Rhett, great to see you again.
So good to see you, Larry.
Thanks for doing this.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much.